Hello everyone and welcome to Cinderful Gaming. In today's video we're going to look at getting started with the Kruleboyz in Warhammer Age of Sigmar using the contents of the first 12 issues of the Stormbringer magazine. Not all of the first 12 issues have Kruleboyz models in them, however some will contain Stormcast Eternals miniatures, so this review will talk about models that come in issues 1, 2, 6, 9 and 11. Today's video is brought to you by Waterfront News and Lotto, located in Devonport, Tasmania. They stock a wide variety of Games Workshop D&D, Star Wars Wargame and paint products and so much more. You can follow the link in the video's description to check out if they've got something for you today in their store. And so the first model we get is the Kruleboyz with stab-grot. Now this model comes in issue 1 of Stormbringer alongside a Stormcast Eternals Knight Arcanum. The model has 6 health, a 5-inch move, 4+ save and control score of 2, pretty standard for your Auric heroes. The save may vary depending on what sort of hero they are. And in melee, you hit with your boss hacker for 5 attacks at 4s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1, damage 2 with a crit mortal ability. Now what crit mortal does is each time you roll a 6 to hit or a critical hit, you will inflict an amount of mortal damage on the enemy equal to the damage value of the weapon and then the attack sequence ends. You also do get your stab-grot shiv in here, which is another 2 attacks at 4s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend damage 1 with crit mortal, also the companion ability which stops any sort of buffs working on that particular attack profile. Now the stab-grot passive ability we have means the unit stab-grot is a token, and if the unit stab-grot has been removed, it no longer has access to the stab-grot shiv and can't use Unleash the stab-grot as an ability either. The Unleash the stab-grot ability can be used once per battle and during any combat phase, and you pick one of the following effects when you do so. You either pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target and inflict D3 mortal damage on them, or you can give your own model a 5-up ward for the rest of the turn. After this, the stab-grot is removed, assuming he's either been squished by whatever he went and shivved, or he's been in the way of a blade thrust towards your general. Now we then have the reaction, which is called Keep them in line. This can be declared the all-out attack command has been used on a friendly Kruleboyz infantry unit, and essentially it will give them +1 to wound as well, so long as they're hollow within 12 inch of the unit using the all attack, and it is obviously this Kruleboyz. So pretty cool. Reactions are generally things you can do in response to other things. You generally declare abilities, reactions then come after. The model is a hero, so it can lead a bunch of different units as well, which is really cool. And your Kruleboyz with stab-grot can have any Kruleboyz units it wants in its own detachment. The next unit we get is a unit of Gutrippaz, and these models are going to come in issue 2. Now we get 10 of these models, and they have 2 health each, 5-inch move, 5+ save, and control score of 1. Now they can have either sticker or hackers in the unit. These have 2 attacks each, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend damage 1 with the crit mortal ability we've already talked about. You also have the Scared Tactics Combat Phase ability. The effect of this is you roll a dice, and on a 3+, subtract 1 from the hit rolls for attacks made by non-hero units that target this unit during the rest of the turn, as they're essentially sort of drumming up their shield, shaking enemies, your severed heads, and a whole bunch of other scary things. They're a fairly decent unit on the table. You know, they can do some okay damage if they begin to spike with the crit mortals, and they can get some bonuses in there, obviously from our Kruleboyz, potentially giving them +1 to hit and +1 to wound, taking them for 3s and 2s. It can be a rather nice profile. Next, in issue 6, we get the Hobgrot slittaz, and we get 10 of these models in this particular set. It is worth mentioning at this point as well, if you have picked up the Hobgrot slittaz from the issue 6, keep the spare parts you have, as they will be used alongside a later edition to give you some more Hobgrots. Hobgrots though have 1 health each, a 5-inch move, 6+ save, control score of 1. They actually have a ranged attack from their scrap grenades, which is 8-inch, 1 attack, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, rend 1, damage 1, but also the shoot and combat ability, which, as you might expect, does exactly what it says, allows the unit to shoot even while it's in combat. Their slither knives are 2 attacks each, hitting on 4s and wounding on 5s, with rend -1 and damage 1. Now they do have the scrap bang rule, which can be used at the end of any turn, and you pick an enemy unit in combat with this unit to be the target. Roll a dice, and on a 3+, you inflict 1 mortal damage on the target, and this unit can immediately use the retreat ability as if it were your movement phase without any mortal damage being affected. This is pretty solid. Being able to retreat, not take that mortal damage, can, you know, sort of just stop your opponent being able to continue wailing on you in combat, means they have to either recharge, on which you can use redeploys, or countercharge your own units in as well to stop those charges. It's a really good ability to have access to. Next we have the Swampcalla shaman with Hobgrot. This is another hero, and this particular model will come in issue 9. Now, the model has 6 health, 5-inch move, control score of 2, all those basic stuff, but only a 6+ save for this particular hero, as he is just dressed in some rags. Bogbunk Staff is what you expect for a wizard hero, to have 3 attacks, 4s to hit, 3s to wound, no rend with damage D3, and the crit mortal ability though, which is something commonplace pretty much amongst everything in the Kruleboyz army, at least that is an Auric. Now, the passive ability Hobgrot means this unit adds 1 to its casting roll while the Hobgrot token is there, but should you ever make a casting roll of 4 or less, the Hobgrot is removed, assuming he's been exploded by a powerful brain magic sort of feedback, or maybe even fallen in his own pot, or been used as some sort of arcane sacrifice. We then have the once per turn army ability, which can be used during a hero phase. Army abilities mean this can only be used once per turn for your whole army, so regardless how many of these shamans you have, you only get 1 use of this. To declare, you pick a friendly Kruleboyz infantry unit wholly within 12 inches of this unit to be the target. Roll a dice. On a 3+, they get +1 save, but on a 1 or 2, you allocate D3 damage points to the target that can't be saved by wards. So this can be pretty nasty if it goes wrong, but +1 save on your orcs, which don't have the best armor save, is a welcome addition. The model is a wizard 1, so knows a variety of different spells from the Kruleboyz lore and can obviously summon manifestations to the table. Is a hero as well, so it does have its own ability to lead a regiment, and its particular regiments can only have Kruleboyz infantry units in them. Lastly, in issue 11, we have the Beast-skewer killbow. The model has 5 health, a 5-inch move, and 5+ save control score of 2. At range, its Beast-skewer bolts are a 24-inch, 2 attack with 4s to hit, 2s to wound, rend 2, and damage D6. Now we have the crit auto wound ability, meaning that if this model gets a critical hit on its hit roll, it'll automatically wound. There's no need to make a wound roll for it. Your opponent will have to make a straight armor save. Anti-monster +1 rend is there as well, meaning this model will get an additional point of rend if it attacks any model with the monster keyword, putting it up to rend 3, which is pretty solid. In combat, it does have a couple of attacks with its jaggedy blades. These have the crit mortal ability, which you expect for all combat attacks from your Kruleboyz. Once per turn for your army during your shooting phase, you can use the skewering bolts ability. For the rest of the turn, the damage characteristic of this beast skewer bolts is 6 to the target of the monster. And you also have the pick 'em off ability, where if this unit has not used a move ability this turn and was not set up this turn, you can add 1 to hit rolls for this unit's shooting attack for the rest of the turn. Pretty solid little ability to get you down to 3s and 2s to hit with. The model is a war machine as well, so we'll have all the sort of things that go with that particular keyword, and have, there is going to be things in the game that are anti-war machine and stuff like that. Something else you're going to want to look to pick up, considering we do have a wizard in the initial part of our force here, you're going to want to look to pick up the endless spells. These come in a variety of different ways. Some armies are lucky enough to have their own particular endless spell laws or manifestation laws, while the Kruleboyz don't have their own as of yet. They can use some of the generic laws you'll find in either the Forbidden Power or Malign Sorcery boxes. Our army list today is going to obviously be a Kruleboyz army, and we've gone for the battle formation of Lightfinger. This means we can use the sneaking dirty trick twice per turn instead of only once. I think this is a really nice little extra ability to give us some extra maneuverability, which is a relatively slow moving army in all things. Our first regiment is going to be led by our killer boss with stab-grot. This model is going to be our general, and we've also gone for taking the heroic trait Egomaniac on it. What this does is, while this unit is within combat range of a friendly non-hero Kruleboyz infantry unit, it'll have a ward of 4+, and each time a successful ward roll for this unit, you allocate 1 damage point to a friendly non-Kruleboyz infantry unit nearby. This is pretty cool because obviously we have the stab-grot there, which already provides a ward, but means we can use the stab-grot to do the mortal damage when we want instead, or keep him for a ward when maybe the units near him are dead. Now, if we are looking at the units that we have in this particular regiment, we've gone for taking our Gutrippaz and our Beast-skewer killbow. We have Musco in this regiment, as it's not an infantry unit and can't go with a Swampcalla shaman. Our Swampcalla shaman will be leading our second regiment, and this model has chosen to take our artifact of power, the swamp staff. If this unit's not a wizard, it can gain an unbind ability as if it were a wizard, otherwise it adds one to this unit's power level, so we'll get an extra power level there as well, on top of the +1 to cast we have while our Hobgrot is there, which is a pretty nice little combo. For unit-wise, we have a single unit along with our Swampcalla shaman, and that is the Hobgrot slittaz. We hope that this video was helpful in getting you started with Warhammer Age of Sigmar using the Stormbringer magazine, and that I was able to give you some ideas and inspiration to use those forces on the table. If you have any other questions at all, please comment down below, and while you're there, don't forget to drop a like, subscribe, and join our Discord server for all future content for the Stormbringer magazine in Warhammer Age of Sigmar.